Hi, I'm Whitney, and this is our team, Basil, Marcus, Greg, and Matthew, and we've created Bubblio.com. The problem we're trying to solve is how to help families better communicate online. Right now, we feel that based on who we've spoken with and our own personal experiences being family members, the online community does not provide adequate space for families to communicate safely and effectively. They mentioned needs for privacy and the need for family storytelling. One story that I'd like to share is based upon an in-person interview, and we had talked with a police officer from a local police department over at the Dunes Shopping Center, and he said that unfortunately he had to stop using Facebook because of the jurisdiction that the department had over his personal life. So being bummed out about that, we thought, what can we do to address this? And we think Bubblio.com really is one of these things. So our value proposition for Bubblio.com is we have made a tool that makes communication between families intimate, intuitive, and significant. I'm going to show you how that works right now. So here's a screenshot of the homepage for Bubblio.com. What we want to focus on is the bubble structure. And you have 8 bubbles here. You create a new story by using a main bubble over there on the far left. You can see the different topics per bubble here, and that's going to be something that you can scroll up and down off the page to see chronologically where those stories are positioned for this particular family. Also notice we have the photo album feature up there, the tab in the middle, and the story mode, which is going to help you create new stories. So here's a closer image of the story mode. How this works is there's a member A of Family Smith, okay? So member A is creating a little blurb in the middle, in the center there. I don't know what that is. And say they're talking about moving to San Francisco. They want to feature the fact that they're in a nice new neighborhood, and they also took a picture of the new neighborhood. So the bubbles coming off the main center bubble are going to relate to the nice new neighborhood, the name of it, and then maybe up there on the upper right, the image actually of the neighborhood. And what then happens is you get the interaction of the family members. I don't know if you can quite see that, but say we have family members B and C, they're going to come in here, and Dad is really into pictures. He's going to comment on the bubble that relates to the picture. Mom is familiar with the neighborhood, read about it in Bon Appetit magazine, said, oh wow, I think there's this great restaurant there. Here's the real-time, this is a functioning real-time website, and, excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, here we go, real-time demo of how Bubblio is going to work based on our description. So here we have those sub-bubbles, like the neighborhood, the picture of it. You can scroll up and down and see the timeline of the bubble topics happening for that family. All right, business model here. We have 3 revenue streams. Those are, first, premium accounts, additional features and additional storage for people. Second, we have advertising. We're going to have a huge population on Bubblio.com. Everyone has a family. Let's connect this way. So lots of information for advertisers, and that's going to be really key for placing their products appropriately on our site. The e-commerce platform is going to consist of having photos online. People want to put those on t-shirts for family reunions, special occasions. We can do that. Customer validation. As I mentioned earlier, the interview with the policeman, we did in-person interviews, online survey. Here are some details from the online survey. People are not satisfied with the Facebook, communicating via that way with the families. Market overview. We have a target market in the United States is going to be nuclear families connected to the internet. This is a huge amount, over 30 million, and
You're unbelievable.
Hi, I have a question about the ice model, I think. So if I join this and I put my family on there and I want my extended family to see, do they have to join also to see this, or how does that work?
Yeah, to see anything, you have to be a member of the family, and you have to be accepted by a member of the family with your account. And once you're in, you'll have full access, and it's a private bubble of your family. And so you can build out your extended family as they build up their accounts within the family.
Right, so if I pay, do they have to pay also?
No,
Okay.
one fee for payment.
The more people you have, the more storage you're gonna burn, the more you're gonna pay. Because we also did a survey on which quantity family use in terms of picture storage, and we realized that even a nuclear family, 2 kids, 2 parents, are definitely using more than 2 gigabytes, which fall into our first pricing option.
Okay, let me see if I can help a little bit. I think I saw whizzing by there at the very end something that might have given us a sense of the class structure, the pie diagram or something. Can you give? So why don't you just give us about 15 seconds about what we're talking about?
Definitely. So what we realized that the most important thing was definitely the user acquisition. That basically 80 to 85% of our budget is going to go into that part of the budget. We made an average between the user acquisition cost of Spotify, Pinterest, and Tumblr during the 2 first years, and we realized that for one user, it's a range between $12 and $15.
So tell me, do you have a prototype already done? Is that what we saw, or what did we just see?
Yeah.
And why don't you give us a couple of seconds on your backgrounds? That might help us. Do we have developers here, or what?
Yeah, I did the front end development. Greg did the back end development with Matthew. Right here, this is actually. We can bring up.
Well, the backend essentially is going to be in the cloud. We're going to deploy all this in the cloud. We're going to use NoSQL, and we can scale horizontally. One of the reasons why our startup costs and our storage costs are so low is that we're going to use like a Roku. We can use diodes and scale as we need it. So we don't have that initial startup capital necessity, at least for that part.
I have a question for you, and I know this is really hard because you've only got 5 minutes, but I thought when you started that you were going to say you were innovating in privacy for the family. And then I started hearing talking about something that sounds like Pinterest, which is selling storage for photos. And I lost the whole concept of what's unique about the privacy. It sounded like permission-based.
No, basically, it's definitely a private network. Only your family member can be part of it. The album feature, the photos, the album list, just a feature you can have. Because we realize that families are all about picture. And this is a key feature we wanted to include in our MVP. But basically, it's definitely private.
I guess my question is, what is unique about the privacy features that you're promoting here? Because that's what you started out to say was the
Do you know another platform that is private for families? I don't. So I think that's why we are kind of unique.
Okay, let me just ask it more specifically. Who's doing the encryption work here? Any of you? What makes it private so that I am assured as a mom of 3 kids that, you know, it truly is private?
Oh, well, everything's going to be encrypted over SSL, HTTPS, so nothing's going to go over the line unencrypted. As talking to how you store it, we can do encryption, but if we get stored encrypted, then one of the issues that we talked about over the weekend was, say if Uncle Bob has the key, and he's the director or the administrator of the family, Uncle Bob passes away. Now you might have 3, 4, 5 years of pictures that you can't get to. So that's one of those things that we could have escrow accounts for the keys. We could do something like that. But we can do encryption. It's definitely encrypted across the line.
This strikes me as a box with a different front end, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Actually, it's acquisition opportunity, right? But is that a fair summary? Yes or no? Box with a different front end.
Box?
Like a Dropbox, something along those lines.
No, because we're gonna.
Essentially, the bubbles, it's kind of hard to show on this, was essentially like Facebook, when people make comments on certain posts, it's all just one. These are like threaded through different stories and different bubbles that people attach to it. So that's one of the differences.